Yeah, happy to be in the semifinals for sure. I think especially against someone like Taylor, who I struggled with over the past 2 years. It's been a pretty one-sided tennis match that always went his way. So I'm very pleased with how I played, and to be in the semifinals is great.
Court 1 at Wimbledon. A grey English afternoon. And on one side of the net, a man carrying the weight of history he never asked for. Alexander Zverev has not beaten Taylor Fritz in over 2 years. Not once. 7 times he has walked onto a court believing this could be the day, and 7 times he has walked off in defeat. 10 wins to 5 in Fritz's favor across their entire rivalry. Twice, that heartbreak had happened right here, on the lawns of the All England Club. So when the draw paired them again in the quarterfinals, the question wasn't just who would win. The question was whether Zverev could finally silence the ghost that had been haunting him for 2 years. But something was different this time. Something fragile was hiding beneath Fritz's game, a knee that had betrayed him for weeks. Rewind to the clay season. Fritz's own team had drawn a line in the sand. They would not travel with him unless he stopped, rested, and let the tendinitis in his knee heal. He barely played through the dote. 2 matches, 2 losses, a ghost of the player he could be. It looked, for a moment, like his season might be quietly unraveling. And then, grass. The surface changed everything. Fritz found his rhythm again in Stuttgart, then in Halle, reaching finals in both. And in Halle, in the semifinals, he did what he always seemed to do. He beat Zverev. Again. The pattern held. The Germans simply could not find a way through. So when the 2 men walked out onto court 1 for their Wimbledon quarterfinal, the story seemed almost written in advance. Fritz, in form, riding grass-court momentum, holding all the psychological cards. Zverev, a Grand Slam champion just 1 month removed from his triumph at the French Open, yet still somehow the underdog against this one specific opponent. But tennis has a way of rewriting its own scripts in real time. From the very first game, something felt off in Fritz's rhythm. His serve, usually a weapon, faltered early, broken almost immediately, and across the net, Zverev was playing with a terrifying kind of clarity. Every ball landing exactly where he wanted. Every serve finding the lines. This was not the hesitant, haunted Zverev of the past 2 years. This was a man who had decided, somewhere deep inside, that today would be different. That today, he would play the most complete match of his tournament, because anything less simply would not be enough. Fritz was struggling, and it wasn't just the scoreboard. As the first set slipped away, the physical toll became impossible to hide. At the start of the second set, he called for the physio. The knee, the same knee that had shadowed him since the spring. He sat there, wincing, as hands worked over the joint that had cost him his clay season and was now threatening to cost him something even bigger. He would later admit the truth, quietly, painfully. He said he felt panic. He said his mind kept drifting to the knee instead of the match, that his focus scattered just when he needed it most. He never expected it to flare up like this. Not here, not now, not against the one man who had eluded him for 2 straight years. And Zverev sensed it, not with cruelty, but with the ruthless focus of a competitor who finally smells opportunity after 7 straight defeats. He kept pushing, kept the pressure relentless. In the third set, he broke Fritz's serve not once, but twice, tightening his grip point by point, game by game, refusing to let the moment slip away the way it always had before. The numbers alone tell a brutal story. In those final 2 sets, Fritz managed to win just 8 points on Zverev's serve. 8, an almost complete shutdown, a wall Fritz simply could not break through no matter how much heart he tried to summon on one good leg. Then came the moment 2 years in the making. Zverev's 14th ace of the match rocketed past Fritz, giving him not 1, but 2 match points. 2 chances to finally end the drought, to erase 7 straight losses in a single afternoon. He needed only 1. Another serve, unreturnable, and it was over. 6-4, 6-4, 6-2. Just under 2 hours of tennis, and a rivalry that had tormented Zverev for 2 full years was, at last, rewritten. At the net, something beautiful happened. No bitterness, no gloating, just a long, warm embrace between 2 men who understood exactly what had just occurred, one finally breaking free, the other gracious even in the sting of defeat. Zverev raised his arms to the sky, and the relief on his face said everything words couldn't. He has been beating me for 2 years straight, he admitted afterward, and I'm very happy to be in the semifinals after finally getting a win. He spoke of the doubt that lingers in the back of your mind when someone has owned you for so long, match after match. He knew he needed to be almost perfect today. And somehow, remarkably, he was. Fritz, gracious in defeat despite his pain, refused to make excuses for the scoreline itself. He said he didn't want to take anything away from how well Zverev had played, that he wasn't even sure the result would have been different with 2 healthy legs. But the panic, the distraction, the fear of the injury spiraling, that, he admitted, had consumed him when he needed calm the most. And just as Zverev prepared to close out this stunning reversal, another story was unfolding just meters away, invisible yet deafening. On centre court, a British wildcard named Arthur Fery was completing his own fairy tale, defeating Italy's Flavio Cobolli, the very man Zverev had beaten in the French Open final just weeks earlier. As Zverev served for the match, the roars from centre court and the hill drifted across the grounds, celebrating a story that wasn't his. He heard it, and instead of resenting it, he embraced it with a wink and a smile. "It is okay," he said. "You guys can all be for Fery, I understand, and I don't have a problem with it. For him, it's a fairy tale story, a fairy tale for Arthur Fery. See what I did there?" Now the 2 paths converge. Zverev, finally free of his 2-year curse, a Grand Slam champion hunting his 2nd major title, standing just 2 wins away from glory. And across the net on Friday, the fearless underdog, the home crowd hero, the man living his own impossible story. One dream chasing history, one dream chasing a miracle, and only one of them walks away with a place in the Wimbledon final.